When we say we are women, we mean that we are brave, we are strong, we are capable, we are unique, we are woman to woman.
Good afternoon, South Africa. Good afternoon, Africa. Today, as promised, 20th of March, we bring to you the continuation of our previous episode when we had a group here speaking about their challenges and how they had to face their challenges, overcome their worst moments, temptations, and they remained. By the end, we introduced to you they were not individuals. As a matter of fact, they were couples. And talking about marriage, sealed, signed, and still vibing, we are here today, and I brought my husband. Good afternoon to you, husband.
Good afternoon. So we hope that experiences will be shared with everybody here in a way that you are going to be able to make up your mind about your next step in your life. Because marriage, I see it as a box of fire. It can take you up to heaven or all the way down to hell. If you get married to the wrong person, then you are going to burn down to ashes. If you get married to the right person, then you are going to go really big.
And taking the opportunity, let us introduce our guests again. Good afternoon to you guys.
Good afternoon, Mr. and Mrs. Mohatli.
And we are Mr. and Mrs. Ngema.
And we are Mr. and Mrs. Kolokolo.
We are Mrs. and Mrs. Costa Martins, aka Italian PJ.
Welcome to Woman. We spoke last time about your challenges. And I know most of them were related to love life, temptations, and all that. So we brought you here today to speak about marriage. But before we go into the sign sealed, and we are going to check if they're still vibing, I wanted to hear from some of you. What was your idea about marriage?
I can start with that one. Firstly, I didn't have an idea of marriage because in my family there was no marriage. The only thing that we would see concerning marriage was what was on TV. And it wasn't like something that was very inspiring because in my family, marriage never existed. And with it being such a case where marriage didn't exist, you'd get mixed images, and you see something on TV and you think, okay, that's like the tooth fairy, it's a fairy tale, and because at home we see something else. And what's worse is that when you see the disputes that would happen at home and you see the problems that would occur, and then if you see like the head of the house is like one weird example that I've come across is where my brother and I walking in the streets, and then we see someone with an outsider, and you're like, who is this person that this one's walking with? What's going on here? Who is this extra person that is not part of our family but looks like an intruder? And of course it raises questions, it raises eyebrows, and we all like, what's going on? And so of course if things like this are happening, there wouldn't be a motivation for marriage. It's not something I would think of. It's not something that would be
So you didn't think about getting married ever? What for?
I was never motivated for it. I was never motivated. I never saw myself like, one day I'm going to get married. No, not even.
And with me, it's totally the opposite. As I said from the previous episode, I had a very good example at home. Very good from my parents that I actually wanted what they had. But remember from the previous episode what I said, wanting what they had, I was influenced to go for it at the wrong time. So, in my regard, all the time, like, it was my dream to get married. And I know it's weird to say that in this generation. So seeing my father and my mother through hard times, they never really fought like in front of us. Most likely they did in the room, I'm not sure. And that's how they raised us. To such a point where I remember when my father lost it all at some point, and the option was the family had to break up, so we had to go live with siblings. But my mom was like, no, I'm not going to allow my children to be raised by anyone else. We're going to stay together. If we stay on the street, we're going to stay on the street together. And then I saw that they were stressed and it was hard times. But going through that made me want it even more. So I've always had a very good perspective of marriage.
Okay, with me, as I said before, that at home we never had a good family structure. And even my father, I never had a father figure in my life. Because there was a lot of violence at home, abuse. And there was a lot of cheating also that was happening. And that happening made me to think twice about marriage, and also the things that people are going through in their marriages. But at the very same time, I had a thought that I never had a family structure. I grew up not being advised by my father or anything. So I told myself one day that, okay, in as much as I have doubts about marriage, and maybe one day I will give my children what I never had. But also the fact that I've seen my mother going through what she was going through, the violence, the cheating, because cheating doesn't only happen from the other side of the men. Also women, they do that. So you sit down and you think there are people out there who are willing to commit to one person and to build a family with that particular person. But there are other people also who are not even that serious about being committed. And the other person who's committed, they'll end up getting hurt. So I'll think about those things when I'm alone, and I'm like, I do want a family to give my children what they never had. But at the very same time, what if I will go through the very same thing that my mother was going through? So yeah.
Who of you guys did not believe in marriage and would say, I'll never get into this?
I did. So I was a bit of an extreme feminist. I was one of those people. I thought that
but
marriage,
you come from a family, a mother and a father.
mother and a father. But I got into that whole feminism movement, and my idea is that, the whole idea of marriage is outdated. We don't need to get married. Why can't I just stay with my partner if, we are dating? So that was my idea of marriage. I never wanted to get married. And also, outside of my family, I didn't know a lot of marriages that were successful. So in my mind, it's what's the chances of me having a marriage that would actually be successful?
So marriage for you, in other words, it would be sort of a prison.
Exactly, yes. I thought that it would interfere in my career, in my success. And I wanted to be this very successful woman, executive, whatever. And I was like, no, marriage is going to interfere in that. So I don't want that.
Interesting. Melissa. Because we have an idea that normally the girls want to get married. But we see here the opposite. They were resisting, isn't that?
I didn't believe in marriage because I came from a broken family. So for me, it was don't trust men. That was how I saw it. It is men will disappoint, men won't protect you. So it was because I didn't have that father figure at home. So it was you have to be independent. You have to take care of yourself. You have to everything look after yourself. So growing up, I had this mentality. I need to make sure I take care of myself. I need to make sure I have no one worrying about me. I need to be able to provide for myself. So I had this, I need to be independent, not depend on anyone else.
Did you hear from your mothers or someone?
Like most of the people here, I also came out of a broken family. My mother and father had gotten married traditionally and they were staying together. And my father decided to leave my mother for another woman. And that sort of like shaped how my mother raised me. She wanted me to be this young, independent woman that does not care about boys at all. She would say, just focus on your books, get successful. And if you are successful and you have everything, then even if you do get a man, then they won't leave you. Because I think that came from what she had gone through. So she raised me in a way that you shouldn't depend on men. You should just get educated and focus on being successful. That's what women should be like.
Didn't believe in marriage at all.
No.
In that case, Tali believed because she comes from a family that was well established. But did you want to get married?
I did. I always had this idea. It's very weird, but I always wanted to be a housewife. And it's very weird. And when people would hear that when I was in school, they would mock at me. They would say, no, this one, don't pay attention to her. She'll understand that it's not really like that. So I always believed because I had a very good example at home. And I wanted that as well, just like Percy. But I was kind of discriminated because, I was a bit left behind, left aside, because of that idea.
PJ, you came from a very good family, we know, but you didn't want to get married. What was marriage for you?
Old school. It was something which was not necessary.
Though you had a very good example at home.
For me, it was not necessary. Similar to, I think, what Stephanie said, that mindset of just have a partner, have someone by your side, but it's not necessary. You don't have to commit. Because I believed marriage was a good thing. I didn't have a negative connotation towards it, but it was not necessary for me. Just wanted to live my life, but I don't necessarily need to get married.
Do you think that friends influenced you somehow with those ideas?
Yes. In my case, yes.
I would say yes, because being the quiet person, so you knew if you came to me and tell me something, I wouldn't tell anyone. So you would hear, oh, this and this happened in the family, or I did this to the person they were dating. So it was, you would hear stories of betrayal of each other, like someone go, oh no, I broke up with him, but when I told him when I broke up with him was that I wasn't cheating on him, I was cheating with him. So when you hear such things, I promise you, I heard that. Someone came and told me. And you hear that there was no trust, there was no love. It just added on to there's no loyalty, so why do you do this thing?
What do you think is the worst fear of young people today about marriage? Is it really fear of losing the freedom or afraid to get hurt, betrayed? In your opinion, what is the greatest fear that is holding on youngsters to think about marriage?
Ms. Marsha, when I think about it, I think it's I think that they always think like they'll be limited. People have this thing of like they want to explore, they want to taste here, they want to do that, they want to do that. And if they feel like they're going to get married, they'll be stuck with one person. And it's like blocked. And then I think for people who do want to find that one true love, they fear they'll be cheated on. They fear like they won't really find that one true love. That person will break their heart, that person will hurt them. That's how I see it.
Ladies, were you afraid to lose your identity when you hear about marriage and then being a Christian submission?
With me, that was the biggest thing. Being somebody who was taught to be independent, somebody who was taught to actually go out there and be a boss lady. When I thought about marriage and I thought about submitting to a man, considering the fact that I had men in my surroundings that had people in their lives, that had women in their life, and they were mistreated, or maybe sometimes they failed to take care of them, I would say. So that also created a stigma inside of me to say, okay, are you also going to be able to actually submit to somebody? Because that's what the Bible actually tells you to do. Will you be able to actually get to that point? So it was a fear, it was a concern for me.
Stephanie.
Like I was totally against submission. I thought like submission puts you in a weak position. And like my father was like a comrade, he fought in the struggle and he taught us, he raised us. So it's 3 girls, we're all girls. And he raised all 3 of us to be educated, to be independent, not depend on a man. So my idea was that, if I get married, I'm going to have to depend on a man, and I didn't want that. And yeah, I saw it as a weakness, not a strength.
Marcelo, in our case, 35 years ago, and coming from broken families, both of us, did you want to get married?
I was thinking, I was afraid I would be asked that. Because I had no idea. This is something that never crossed my mind, getting married or not getting married. Because as they're talking, I went back like a lot, trying to even remember what marriage meant to me. Well, the answer is nothing. I had no idea what marriage was, because I don't come from a broken family. I come from a very messy family, because my mother had a terrible marriage. My father brought one of his friends in
First, your father
the
was
house.
very violent.
Yes, and that friend became the affair of my mother. And,
Look at her face.
And my mother had another boyfriend. I came to find out about that when I was 14 years old. And the one who told me was the daughter of the boyfriend number 2 of my mother. I'm not sure if they were having this relationship, the 3 of them at once. But certainly, my mother wasn't happy with my father. And at some point, she wasn't happy with this boyfriend. And now she's trying someone else, or someone else is trying her. I don't know. I have so many funny things to tell, and some of them better not to.
Please.
So, what was marriage? I don't know then. I don't know. And again, I was thinking here, if I didn't know, why did I want to? And why did I want to have something that I didn't know how to deal with? I had no idea how to be a husband. I had 0 idea. Because most of them learned in the church how to become someone. I didn't have that chance, because I came to the church sick at the age of 16, and 17 I was an assistant, 18 I was an auxiliary pastor. So I didn't really have a chance to like the idea or dislike the idea. But then as an auxiliary pastor, I started hearing people say, oh, you have to have a helper. You have to have someone to do the work of God with you. And then I said, okay, so who is going to be this helper? I had 0 idea whether I wanted to get married or not. I never thought about that. One thing I knew for sure, I didn't want to have a child, because I saw how my brother turned the life of my mother into a burning hell. And then I thought, if one day I get married, I do not want to have this in my life. I don't. And I was about 13 years old. It has nothing to do with doing the work of God and so forth. But as for marriage, I have no idea.
And I didn't want to get married because I was coming out of a very bad relationship of, 7 years of violence and abuse. So I didn't want to get married. I wanted to invest in my career, to go overseas. I had my contract signed to go, move overseas, and we came to exist. Isn't that the funny part of it, né? And a year, 7 months later, we were married, doing the work of God. 2 years later, after married, in Africa. Now, we went to the streets to find out what they think, the pros and cons about getting married at a young age. Let us watch it, and then we come back to you guys, because if you're here today as Mr. and Mrs., you decided somehow to get married, isn't that? Let us watch.
So, Women to Women Family, we have here two students, young people, who will speak to us about their own opinions about getting married young.
I honestly think marriage as a whole is a no, and getting married young is.
I do believe in marriage, and I feel like people should just give it a chance if they can. Because we couldn't judge your marriage based on what other people are going through. Yeah.
I think it's a good thing because you young, energetic, you can grow into the marriage together. I wouldn't personally do it myself because I don't know what to expect, and my parents themselves are divorced, so I come from a background where people's marriages don't really last long. So me myself, I want to take my time and not get into a situation where I end up like my parents.
Like them, okay.
I honestly believe that you cannot get married at a young age because you're still gonna meet more people, like she said. You're still gonna explore. You have to be sure about the decision you take because it's honestly not easy.
They just got married right now. So guys, how is the feeling of just signing? How are you feeling?
Nah, me, I don't believe in marriage at all. I feel like marriage sucks, and then modern day marriage is not okay. The system favors women more, and it's not even. Hence, I don't believe in marriage.
Well, I don't even think I believe in marriage, so that's a very difficult question. So I actually don't have any opinion about getting married young because I have no opinion on marriage at all.
Tell me, why don't you believe in marriage?
Because I feel like when you are married, some unrealistic standards are put on you because there's this that you're supposed to do and that you're not supposed to do, and I believe in freedom.
It's not a bad thing, as long as like you find a person that is willing to work with you towards that.
And are you currently dating and currently married?
No, I've just came out of a relationship now.
And how long was it?
It was a 5-year relationship.
5 years. And what happened, if I can ask?
Well, I would say I'm the one who's at fault. Like in a sincere relationship, everything was fine. Like I just messed up like along the way.
You see a mixture of ideas, opinions, and now I'm going to throw the question that you heard before. What happened that you guys decided to get married at a young age? Percy wanted anyway.
Yes, I'll start off because
not with a feminist though.
Yes. Fun fact about them being a feminist. Yeah, our first phone call when we got the approval to talk, already I could tell the tone, and it was just a mess. But anyway, moving right along. I've always wanted to be married So it was a dream, you understand? And I feel like I'm actually even late getting married. I was supposed to get married young.
Oh, you guys are so young.
But that's how eager I was. So that's a very straightforward answer for me. It was my dream, and that's it.
So that's why
Could you give us just a little bit of that mess, because I'm curious. Said it was a mess.
The first call.
Just a little bit.
It was after we've gotten our approval to talk. We weren't even dating, we were just talking. First phone call. I call her. I can't remember what we were talking about. But I remember she raised her voice. She just raised her voice. And she was talking, I don't know about what. But as soon as she raised her voice, I let her finish. Immediately after she finished, I was like, look, not even my mother shouts at me. Okay, she does, but I was trying to put emphasis.
But you were looking for a wife and not a mother.
Emphasis. I was trying to put emphasis, like, you're not my mother, so don't raise your voice at me.
First call.
First time speaking to her over the phone.
Do you remember why you had to shout?
I honestly don't remember.
No, she didn't have to.
Yeah.
It was her coping mechanism. She didn't have to on the first call.
It was my default settings because I was very
protective.
Very driven and very like. So in my mind, I'm like, oh, I used to.
Like
I gave him a
like a gun. You put the trigger, the bullet goes.
No, it's more or less like this: either my way or the highway. Be known it on from the very first beginning.
Yeah, exactly. And there's something I used to say. I forgot what.
Oh,
I always thought whenever he would, give his opinion or something, I'd always think that he's being controlling. And then I would get very defensive and be like, no, you can't control me. Stop being so controlling or anything like that.
We're still going to find out how they got married. Who else?
Okay. With me, as Percy said, like, first phone call, it was a mess.
What happened with first calls here?
So even with me and my wife here, I remember there was a time, I think it was around the third month of the year, I think it was around 2023 there, 22. And we had a conversation there. And you could tell, like, through the conversation that here I'm going to have a problem because I would say one thing and she would say the other. And there was a time like she was even asking me about surnames. We fought like over that now and then because she was like, I'm going to use this, we use it together, or I'm going to keep mine, you see. So we had that like in our first few months because we were dating from a distance. I was in Free State, she was in Johannesburg. So we'll be on phone call all the time. But you could tell that this one, like, she was raised probably by a single mother, and she had her own thoughts about marriage and how she wanted to conduct her life personally. So we had struggles like when we started, but as time went by, then we got to settle a bit because even I myself, I had to understand that, okay, I can't put the blame on her because our backgrounds are not the same at the end of the day. Because sometimes you as a man, I even tell her sometimes that, as a man, you have that nature within yourself, like, not to control, but you want to put order, to put the structure. Yes. And sometimes when the woman doesn't want to do that, I don't know, it frustrates you sometimes. It does frustrate you. It does frustrate you. So I went through that with her. It was so frustrating. I don't want to lie. But as time goes by, we settle and we understand that it's not their fault, it's not my fault, our backgrounds.
So then you decided to get married.
Yes, I decided to get married.
You guys.
Okay, since everyone is mentioning like such interesting stuff, it reminded me of, okay, everyone says their first phone call was a mess.
But you guys were close to each other. There was no phone call, I guess.
I don't want to speak about phone calls. Because
Melissa,
you're the trauma.
Before we started dating, and I was thinking about Melissa. I spoke to her over the phone, and I was like, wow, I've never spoken to someone so long over the phone. But as soon as we were approved to start talking, it's like we couldn't speak. It's like, I'm like, I need to build a conversation. I need to speak about something. So much it got to a point where she was like, this conversation is so uptight. What's going on here? And I'm like, I feel it too. But something that moved forward ahead, like Dino was saying, like the whole different mindset thing, is how independent Melissa was. I could not hold Melissa's hand anywhere in public, anywhere in the street, anywhere near the church.
How 50 years old are you guys?
Later on, she did explain how she doesn't want it to be perceived like, she doesn't want it to be in a state where it seems disrespectful to elders, like we're dating here in the church and, you know, just doing things
because
casually.
you guys were
loosely.
assistants in the very same branch, isn't that?
Exactly.
You didn't want
exactly.
to give to others that there was a confusion between your private life and serving.
Exactly. Another thing was, Melissa was so dependent, I couldn't gift her with anything. Or if I wanted to, I would have to scratch my head like really hard and think and try and grind in deep or try to do research.
You ladies challenge these guys. I would think it would be otherwise, or the other way around. But you ladies were difficult, huh?
We had to work for it.
And you still decided to get married. I have to
Yes.
congratulate you guys, because I saw red flags here from a distance. Now, in your case, there was a phone call, of course, because you were very far away from each other.
Yes.
Although, just like Percy, for me, I got married late as well. Like, I wanted to get married when I was 16. So much it was something I really wanted. I had parents who taught me my value and that I couldn't commit a mistake, specifically in marriage. I wanted to make sure I wasn't committing a mistake, especially because it was my first boyfriend and I didn't know how dating.
And it was not Johannesburg, Bloemfontein.
No,
there was
we
a big
were,
ocean
yeah,
in
we
between.
had the ocean apart. And so no one told me to do it. I don't know how I started that, but I wanted to be very tough to see if that is really what he wanted. So first calls, he would always come up with, how was your day? And ask things about me, and I would give one word answer. Good, yes, no.
What a boring kill.
Because I wanted him, we had that men need to work. So I wanted him to work, but I didn't do my part as well. So it came a point that he even got a bit tired of that. And we almost didn't make it here.
Are you going to tell the story?
You
Should I complete it?
PJ. We are all ears
she
for the
was
gossip.
too uptight. I understand the woman must have that value and build the wall, but hers was not a wall, it was a tower. It was the Burj Khalifa. It was impossible to go over. And she would never call. So I had that sense of like, does this girl even like me? Is she even interested? Because we've been speaking for a while now and it's only me. I'm the only one making. I know make do at least 10% one effort. And I got annoyed. And that day I told her. And then I said, listen, I'll call you some other day. And that day, I remember I was at the church alone. And I said, I'm going to call it off. Today I'm going to go to my pastor and I'm going to tell him, please, I don't want this anymore. I'm going to call it off. But then I had a conversation with the Lord who helped. And then we spoke about it. And we agreed with that. And I remember she gave me an answer that annoyed me when she says, no, these are my principles. And I lost it. I said, so it's your principles it's a one-sided thing. I'm the only one who has to try. But we worked it out. And yeah, here we are. But we were on the verge. I had decided I don't want it.
And we interesting that all of them didn't have that fairy tale dating. I was expecting that. They decided to get married, while they were very young, not because they were in the church, but because their dating was one completing each other. But as a matter of fact, it was a lot of red flags and at the verge of cutting that relationship and moving on. Isn't that? Did you notice that?
Yes, and the lady's very bossy. Very much in charge.
I'm feeling so good with myself.
Yeah, me too,
I didn't have this problem.
No, we didn't. For us, it was so different. It was so natural. I still wonder. I sometimes, I say it, you deny what I say, but I am sure I gave my wife a lot of headaches. I am absolutely sure
After
that...
getting married.
Yeah, because before getting married, I think we met, 2-3 times?
Yeah, we dated at a very long relationship, a long distance relationship, and we would not see often, though we were in the same country.
I think we went out twice.
No, more.
No, could be
we managed to get engaged.
Anyway, yes.
Before you left.
We didn't
it was
have
about
time.
2 months before you left to another province.
I feel like...
Then I saw him once. Then we were approved to get married. Then he came back for us to get married.
We didn't have these things.
No.
Like calling you what you want or not calling me or what does she think she is? What does he think he is? We didn't have that. I'm just like... What? What is this?
But that is what makes interesting to know.
Yes.
Even though, despite all the challenges, the red flags, the bossy attitude.
I'm trying to imagine here, Melissa. Don't touch me. Don't. No, but shh, go that side.
They decided to get married. What did you hear from your friends and family when you informed them that you wanted to get married? Especially from the friends.
Of course, from the friends. At home, I'm known as a person who's very stubborn. So once I choose a way, I stick to it. So people don't occasionally tell me the truth up front, but you can see with their reactions. So with Stephanie and I, we dated for a while, but out of nowhere.
Yeah, because you had a lot of issues to level, huh?
Yes.
To compromise.
That's what I believe. I believe if we actually got married earlier, we wouldn't be this happy.
How long have you dated for?
We dated, was it 5 years? Yeah, 5 years. We dated 5 years.
It really took long until you guys got the right way.
We paved what we have now. But because we were dating and everyone at home was used to us dating, and then now I just announced 2 months from now I'm getting married, out of the blue. So it caught a lot of people by surprise. Then it didn't make sense, because like, you sleep, they know where I sleep, they know where I eat, they know what I do. So they're like, how are you gonna get married in 2 months? Did you win the lottery? What happened, you know? And they didn't tell me the truth, but there were friends of friends who were telling me what my friends said. You understand? Mm-hmm. So one of my friends was like, I think Buzz is making a mistake. He's rushing it. But think about it.
5 years,
I've been dating 5 years. The fact that I just planned my wedding date 2.5 months from now, they say that 2.5 months is too soon. It's too soon. They're not thinking that it's been 5 years. And then family, of course. I'm the last born. And you know how mothers and your siblings are, because you're the last born, you understand? So all of a sudden, I just told them, I'm getting married. And we've decided on this date. I did it on a WhatsApp group, even worse, a family group. I did it on a WhatsApp family group. I had already signaled, because my parents are in the church, they know that we are going to get married. So I'd already signaled, asked questions, what are the procedures, what are the traditional procedures? And I told them, I'm going to get married soon. But when it actually happened, everyone was just like, what's wrong with him? Why is he rushing? Is Stephanie pregnant? You know? So those questions came up. And it was only, I think, normal, because they were shocked. I caught them off guard. So everyone was doubtful about it actually being a success.
After 5 years,
Yes.
who of you dated as long as 5 years? No? How long?
2 years. 2 years.
What were the comments when you said we're going to get married?
With me, from the side of my family, all of them, they were happy for me. And yeah, they were happy for me, all of them, I would say that. But there were 1 or 2 or 3 people, some of my uncles, because I remember getting a call from my uncle asking me that, man, why are you rushing this thing now? Because with this money of yours that you want to pay lobola with, you can buy this, you can buy that. You can buy this, you can marriage, you'll see it maybe after 5 or 10 years from now when you reach 40 there. But for now, buy this, buy that, buy that. So you get those discouraging ways from your family. It happens. It's a normal thing that we know. But the whole of my family, they were happy for me. But when it comes to my friends, I remember there's this ways or this phrase that we like to use. They will say that if you have her now, she's not yours permanent. It's just your turn. They will say those words because if you speak about your people, like, worldly people, they have that mentality of saying that, you get married, but in 2 or 3 years later, you come back to us telling us that she has left you. So, yeah. So, for my family, like, they were positive,
Very
but...
hopeful, huh?
Yeah.
Positive.
Yeah.
2-3 years, she
So,
will leave you.
on the side of my family, they were happy, but on the side of my friends, they were very discouraging.
So their mindset is already prepared for betrayal and failure.
Yes, exactly.
So why are you going to get married so young? Because it will result in betrayal and failure.
Exactly.
And you?
So, on the contrary to him, my family was not as supportive of that idea. You were so young and your life is just starting up. We can see you just finished your degree and you're about to start your career. Why get married? So much so that I hid the relationship from my family. I couldn't get to sit. They saw the signs that I am dating because you are on phone calls and sometimes you request that you are going to go out with somebody, but they were just in denial. They just hoped the relationship would just end there and there, or something would happen to stop me from getting married. And so much so that I only told them that I'm getting married closer to the time when the negotiations were to start. That's when I actually told my mother and my family that I am going to get married, but
And
they were
no
not
support at all?
No. So much so that they tried stopping it.
Stephanie?
For me, they were questioning, am I concealing? Because they know I'm a Christian and I come to church all the time and I'm an assistant. So they were just questioning, am I concealing a pregnancy or something? Yeah.
After 5 years, they're still not prepared?
Yeah, after 5 years.
Okay.
But my family was generally supportive. It's just a few people here and there that were questioning, okay.
Sipho Melisa, yours is not 5 years, I know. It
No.
was a bit quicker.
Ours was 2 years. We dated for 2 years. When I told my family that, okay, we're going to tie the knot, we'll get married, there wasn't backlash. There wasn't like much issues. My mom was happy. She was like over the moon. My dad was like, okay, cool, because he's in Mozambique, so he's not always here, so he's not always involved. So he was like, whatever goes. So, okay. The downside that I saw wasn't necessarily because with my state, I basically would say, okay, I don't have friends. I wouldn't have like people I would speak to from outside or anything like that. My condition was I would hear a lot of things, or I would listen to advice where someone is telling me advice that people told that person that, my friend, they say if you get young, if you get married when you are young, it's gonna go like this, it's gonna go like that. You need to be careful. Like it's too soon, so you need to look out for this. Now I can either take it two ways. I can listen to the positive that he's saying. Okay, be careful that people might say, okay, when you get married young, it's too young. You'll get bored. You'll get tired. Or I can listen to what this person's trying to tell me, like the actual message, which is, don't worry. But obviously, he was like raising like. People might come and say this, people might come and say that. So it was mostly positive, but here and there, it's like there's that thing of like, should I be looking out for this? Should I be looking out for that?
Melissa.
So, yeah.
Mine was
For
interesting.
someone who didn't even want to hold hands to get married in 2 years, what an improvement, huh?
So mine was interesting. When I mentioned it, there was support. But like it's almost like it took some weeks to register what I actually said. Then there was a sit-down meeting. And yeah, in the meeting it was, are you sure? Are you not rushing? Is this person pressuring? So it was a thing of, you're still young. And I remember someone said to me, no, you haven't eaten your money, you haven't traveled the world, why are you getting married? So this person will hold you down. So it looked hopeful in the beginning, then it got interesting, then it went back to hopeful support at the end. Yeah.
Okay. Now, PJ and Tali, your case is a bit different because you didn't come and say we're going to get married that day. But when you said when you heard it's time to get married, what was in your mind?
Mrs. Marcia, for me, funny enough, I was still working, and as he was overseas, I had to prepare people at work that there'll come a time that I'll need to leave, I won't stay anymore. And I remember
You're just going to move to Africa, as simple as that.
Yes, exactly. And they wanted to ask, but why? What's happening? And I was trying to explain without giving much details. And I remember some colleagues at work, one specifically, she said, but why? Why? You don't even know him. You met him once. Because I remember I even asked to be dismissed a bit earlier, the day we met. And she said, but you only met him once. No, don't do that. You know, you need to test drive. You are young. You need to see. How do you know that he's the one if you don't try other flavors? That was the word.
Conversation goes on.
Yes. And then I remember even my boss, he was really upset. And he tried to kind of bribe me not to get married. He's like, no, I'm going to open a branch in another city and I'll pay your rent, I'll pay for you to study, I'll increase your salary. No, don't go, we stay 2 more years. And I said, I can't stay 2 more years. I don't know when I'm going. I'm just preparing you that anytime I can go. And he would always come with, these jokes that they are not so funny, saying, no, you don't know what you're doing, you're wasting your time. But if you want, he even said, okay, you can go, when he saw there was no way to take me out of it. He even said, you can go, but if you want to come back, the doors are open. kind of,
Very
I know it's not
promising.
going to work. So
Encouraging.
when you come back, the doors will be open. Yeah.
PJ,
Then I remember.
in your case, it was not a matter of, what you heard, because you were in the environment of the church and we promote this. But were you afraid that that very difficult person now coming this side would play again the controlling mode?
I wouldn't say I was afraid, Miss Marcia, because then that was before we had met personally. Once we met personally, I remember we had a week to figure out if that's what we wanted. So it was, by then I was sure of it. I'm like, she's the one. My only fear was, how can I say? My only fear was in the sense of like, will we be consistent until the end? My fear initially, because although in the church environment we still have those who have somehow, I wouldn't say a negative, but the way that they would bring, for example, marriage will be painted as something very scary. It's scary. You're in a plane that's about to crash and there are many buttons, none of them will work. So I had that pressure. I carried that pressure. So I think that was my only fear. It wasn't something personal as in towards her, towards me, but just the idea of marriage felt a bit scary initially, as per some of the comments we would hear. Oh, it's very difficult. It is obviously not as easy as it looks, but it's also not impossible. People sometimes would make it sound like, so I think that was my only concern initially.
Still with all these challenges, with these setbacks, and this very positive, not to say otherwise, encouragement that you received, you guys decided to get married. We are going to find out more about what comes next when we are Africans. When one or two say, we are going to get married. It's not as easy as you may think. I'm going to go down to the Home Affairs, set the day, prepare in the church. There is a whole lot of preparation and negotiations, and we are going to hear all about that pressure. But I'm so sorry to say, not today. We are not going to have time. So I'll need to hold you for our next episode with the very same couples when they are going to talk about how hard it was to come to family and come to common ground and then now decide on the date and get married. Then we are going to find out, after being signed, sealed, are they still vibing? That's for our next episode. For today, we are going to still watch an interview that was done at the magistrate court here in Johannesburg. If they believe in marriage at a young age or not, I want you to pay attention. They are from the magistrate court. Let us watch together.
Today we are here at the Magistrate Court to get public opinion about being married young. So come with us.
There are two types of divorce, right? It's a proposed and unopposed. So many old people, when they divorce, they always fight for those who that they live together. In the older days, they used to get married in a customary union, which now have been declared by the Constitutional Court that it's automatically in convention of property. So all these people that maybe have been staying together for 40 years and you divorce now, just imagine how much you are going to lose. And then so the advice that I can give to the young people is when they get married, as indicated by my colleague here, is for them to sign an ANC.
So how long are you an attorney?
I've been an attorney for 10 months now.
10 months. So you were new in this field, ne?
Yes, I just got admitted last year.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Nice. So what type of cases do you deal with?
I specialize in Rhodes and Fund, but now I'm focusing mostly on divorces.
Divorces?
Yes.
Do you like being in such cases? Do you enjoy?
I do like being in divorce.
You like?
Yes, I want to help them to leave the toxic marriages, you know?
Okay.
Yeah.
And please give us the feel of the experience when you were in the courtroom and you're having to help a couple going through that type of separation. How is it for you?
We settle out of court.
Okay.
However, we have to sit down and talk about, okay, what do you want? And then the stories, they are very traumatic, guys. Very, very, very traumatic. People are going through a lot. They are going through a lot in marriages.
Yeah.
So if you see someone saying, I want to get a divorce, just know that it's going down. Yeah.
Yes, I do believe in marrying young. I believe that if you marry young, then you will start accumulating wealth together from a young age. So you will avoid the little drama of like now we're separating before we sign the unnatural drama. So I think if you marry young and start now before you have a lot, then you can avoid the drama later.
We're currently standing near the magistrate court where many people are going through divorces, filing for separation and so forth. What is your take on that? And you being a person who believes in getting married young, what's your take on what's currently happening as a country society?
If they feel like they can separate, it's fine, I understand. But for me, I wouldn't advise them to divorce if they still love each other.
Yeah, divorce is a problem, but I feel like it's the decision you make. Also, being young, you make wrong decisions. But also, if you make the right decision, you last long.
Women need time. And like as a man, you need to take care of your woman.
You take your time to get to know your person. I think it's absolutely fantastic. And just going through this life thing with your spouse, through good and bad, I think that's the most important thing.
Date for dating, not for marriage.
Don't get married to someone that you feel like is not going to be able to take care of you for the rest of his life.
So how can you advise our young people out here on being married young?
Okay, being married young, guys, if you really do love the person and see a future with them, I say go for it.
Let's say your child's watching this in the next years to come, and his father is speaking.
Yeah.
How would you advise him for his own love life to
Yeah, that's a good one. In dating or having relationships, there's no mistakes. So you must date a lot of women, get to understand how dating works. You see, date, meet a lot of women. It's okay to have a lot of women. Because me, I'm saying such because I have experience.
So would you want to go back to what you messed up, as you said you did?
To the woman that I...
Yes.
Yeah.
Does this somehow affect your own perception about marriage?
It doesn't, and it feels weird why it doesn't.
I'm glad it doesn't. Lobola is already by law marriage.
Oh, which means I won't even lobola then.
If you feel that you are in a good, healthy relationship and you see yourself that you can marry this person, take the chance. You never know. You might be skeptical at first because of the high divorce rate, and only to find that maybe it's going to be different. So you just take the chance.
Your last words?
I would advise all the young women not to get married. They can just engage in love. They can just have a chance to be in love, but they shouldn't take a chance to get into marriage. That's my advice.
Opinions divided again, isn't that?
Yes.
So can you enlighten us with God's point in this? Since we are going to carry on
So,
with the topic.
I would like even to suggest another chapter because we could talk about honeymoon.
Guys, episode number 3.
And after honeymoon, because I have some very interesting things to talk about. So while they were talking, I was thinking about Apostle Paul, who didn't get married.
Yeah.
He didn't get
He's
married.
not a reference for marriage, though.
In 1 Corinthians chapter number 7, verse 27, 7:27, there is a very interesting message from Apostle Paul to those who are single and they want to remain single, those who want to get married, and so forth. So he says here, are you bound to a wife? That's my case. Do not seek to be loosed. That divorce. Are you loosed from a wife, which was my case and their case before getting married? Attention to the question, are you loose from a wife? Do not seek a wife. But even if you do marry, you have not sinned. Nevertheless, such will have trouble in the flesh. I will read this part again. Attention, 28. But even if you do not marry, you have not sinned. And if a virgin marries, she has not sinned. Nevertheless, such will have trouble in the flesh, but I would spare you. So, poor are those who think they are going to get married and they are not going to have trouble in the flesh, because they will have. If you don't get married, then you are going to have, sexual needs that you can only have those needs satisfied without feeling guilt if you are married. But now you cover that gap, you get married, and then your sexual desires will be sorted out. But guess what? You will still have troubles in the flesh, because that's exactly what we saw here today. There are so many differences, and there are so many red flags and probably alarms going off. Bam, 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 don't get married, because there will be a war. And there was a war at the first call. Imagine the rest of it. Don't touch my hand. Why she's put me off? She doesn't call me back. All that they said, it is trouble in the flesh. How do we deal with this? Because I am one of those who could not bear to be without getting married. I wouldn't be able to. Paul was able to. And there are those who are married today and they are seeking to be loose. They want to walk away from marriage because there is trouble in the flesh and they are not being able to deal with that. So I think I should leave this part for the next program. How did I deal with the trouble in the flesh? Because we didn't have marriage problems, but now I had someone telling me what to do, where to put my shoes, what not to do in the house. Hey, don't put it there, it's over here. When I was single, I didn't have that, not in that sense. So I thought I would get married and I am going to be independent. No, I wasn't. My life changed so much. Did I have trouble in the flesh? Yes, I had, because now I needed to be a husband. I need to be the head of a family. And not only that, now I'm a pastor and everybody's going to look at me and they are expecting, I guess.
Look for counseling.
Yes, I expect that they will look at me and say, oh, such a wonderful couple, well married. Well, thanks God we didn't have to pretend, although I have met people in the past, they needed to pretend that they were well married. But what Paul's saying here is, do you want to be alone? You're going to have problems. I'm warning you.
Do you want to get married?
Do you want to get married? You're going to have problems in the flesh. But the good thing about getting married is that something comes with it. And if you know how to use it, then your life is going to be really great. So, how do we deal with all of that? The Word of God. The Holy Spirit, He breaks down all the problems in the flesh. And He blends us, even with our differences. I would need a night video to say to everybody how different she is from me. Like 98% different, and I am 120 different from her. And none of these differences are a problem for us in zero, there is zero way. So Paul is saying, well, you're going to have problems if you are single, you are going to have problems if you are married. But the difference is that single, you are one, married, you are two, becoming one. Maybe you don't understand that, but God can help you solve all the problems that you have in your marriage. So what do we see here? It's amazing. Young couples who are not only married, they are happily married.
But we're still going to find out in our next episode if they are still vibing.
Yeah, if you are able to use your differences with wisdom, or you're going to vibe. We still vibe.
35 years later. And
35.
the truth is, our differences are still very alive.
Ooh, yes.
We didn't change, like people say that you're going to think like each other. I still think like myself. I still like what I like.
My kids getting worse because I'm getting old. And I always remember her grandmother. She used to say, it is good to be old because you have the right to be impolite. Oh, I love that. I love that phrase. And now I'm gray-haired, I'm getting
and I don't agree to
older, and I can be impolite sometimes. Although I'm not, but I feel like being sometimes, you know.
So now we are going to ask God to bless you. And I will invite PJ to pray for those who are undecided. Fact is, you learned today that single, you will have problems. Married, you will have problems. The difference is that being two, it's easier to tackle those differences and problems. PJ, shall you pray for us, please?
Yes, let's pray. Holy Spirit, we know that there are people with different thoughts, opinions, different experiences watching this program. And perhaps they're wondering, should I do or not do based on the message we just received? But I ask that this indecision may be resolved through your word, through your wisdom, because you have no flaws, you commit no mistakes. I pray for both those who are young and those who are older, those who are confused, those whose marriage is at the stage is in the worst state or relationship, those who are alone and wondering if they'll ever find that suitable partner. Regardless of the situation they find themselves in, may you come with the answer, may you come with the solution. May you give them the wisdom, because the wisdom which comes from God brings the solution more than what we need. So we pray for everyone this very moment, everybody who is married, every marriage, every couple this moment, and those who are single as well. In the name of the Lord Jesus, amen.
Amen. Now, on the 3rd of April, we are going to be at Ellis Park Stadium, praying for the families. And we know that many out there are struggling in their marriage or even struggling by being single. Would you invite them to join us to Amandling Awetu 2026?
So I'm sure you heard a lot already about this event. At least more than once, someone has come to you and invited you to join us. thinking whether you're going or not. So, what else do you have to lose? Like, maybe you know that much about God, and you know that much about family principles, or you don't. But there is one thing that you don't get wrong. You want to be happy. You want to be fulfilled. And perhaps this program here today was so painful for you to watch, because you see young guys already married, and you are of a certain age already, and you can't find the right person. And chances are that the right person has crossed your way so many times, different right persons, but your behavior and your mentality has somehow suffocated that opportunity as a mechanism of defense. You heard this in our program today. Why don't you give yourself a chance? Because it's never late for you to take the right decision, to get your life back, to find your other half. Your other half is close to you, closer than what you can imagine. So join us in Ellis Park this coming 3rd of April. We start 10 o'clock. We advise you to come earlier for you to find your stop, your spot. And the rest, leave in the hands of God. Because it was in an event like that God prepared her for me and me for her. The stadium, she was on the other side with her boyfriend and ex. And I was on this other side of the stadium with my ex-girlfriend. And there we were. So who knows if you are going to find the right person for you. Not necessarily that you are going to see that person, but the blessing is going to be there. You are invited. The entrance is free. And if you don't know how to get there, you can call our helpline, national toll-free number, 0800 330 320, or you go to the next UCKG branch to find out how you can have your ticket to enter the stadium Ellis Park.
And we are going to continue with these guys now to find out more of the procedures and if they are really happy in our next episode. Until then, God bless you all. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Amandla Mngawethu, a movement of faith, a moment of unity. The power that has changed countless lives lives over the years. This year, Amandla Mngawethu, on Good Friday, history will be made once again at the iconic Ellis Park Stadium as thousands come together in a powerful moment of worship and transformation. Then, on the Holy Saturday and on Resurrection Sunday, we will have special services at the Holy Ground Cathedral in Soweto. Come expectant, come believing, come and be part of Amandla Mngawethu.
The first step to healing is simply reaching out. If you or someone you know needs support, email woman-to-woman@uckg.org.za or call 0800 330 320. Our toll-free helpline offers confidential, non-judgmental support.